CTV News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Carlyle, Fiset. We are broadcasting tonight to our audiences in both London and Windsor due to technical difficulties. And we begin with a highway tragedy along the 401 this morning. A tow truck driver was killed. He was from Kitchener, and police say the driver who hit him then fled the scene. Colton Weens reports.
The scene of a fatal hit and run. Emergency responders called to the westbound lanes of the 401 near Oxford Road 3 just after 7 Wednesday morning, where police say a tow truck driver was killed.
The individual was a tow truck operator that was assisting a stranded motorist on the side of the road when they were struck and killed by an unknown vehicle.
The tow truck operator, a 42-year-old man from Kitchener, was pronounced dead at the scene.
To all family members and friends that are affected by this tragedy, I just wanted to extend my deepest and sincerest condolences. You're in our thoughts.
The vehicle that hit the tow truck driver drove off. The OPP later identified a vehicle of interest described as a blue-colored tractor and trailer with a black tarp on top. They're trying to find and speak with the driver. As the investigation unfolded, the westbound lanes were closed between Cedar Creek Road and Oxford Road 29, forcing traffic into a detour for several hours. The highway was reopened around 1 in the afternoon. In Ontario, it is law that motorists must slow down and move over if it's safe to do so when passing a tow truck with flashing amber lights. If a lane change is not possible, drivers must slow down significantly.
Unfortunately, this is a devastating reality of why the slow down and move over law exists. The slow down and move over law is not one or the other, it's both.
Canada's national charity dedicated to injury prevention says if you can't move over, slowing down even a little makes a major difference in a crash.
If a person is hit by a car going 80 kilometers an hour, they have a 90% risk of being killed in that collision. Whereas even slowing down to going 60 kilometers an hour reduces that death risk to 50%.
As police look into this tragedy, they're appealing to the public for any tips that might help.
If you're traveling in this area between Cedar Creek Road and Oxford Road 29, either east or westbound this morning between 7 and 7:30, and you saw something that may have caught your eye, you saw a damaged vehicle, you saw the collision or shortly what occurred afterwards or even before, we urge you to contact the Oxford OPP.
Colton Weens, CTV News.
5 people were taken to hospital after a fire broke out at a Western University frat house last night. According to police, emergency crews responded just before midnight to this building at Richmond and Cheapside. The 3-story residence is home to the Pi Kappa Alpha fraternity, also known as Pike. Police say the 5 people taken to hospital have varying injuries from minor to serious, and the investigation is in the hands of the police patrol department. London's mayor is touting significant progress on a new micro-shelter community, which is weeks away from a scheduled opening. However, as Daryl Newcomb reports, as of today, the property where this project will be built is still a farm field.
The corn has been harvested, but this property on Cheese Factory Road shows no other progress towards becoming a micro-shelter community for homeless Londoners. However, Mayor Josh Morgan says significant progress behind the scenes is keeping the project on track.
Obviously, we want these in place for the winter months, but I'm very pleased with the staff progress, overcoming a number of hurdles so far.
A new report updates council on progress to create a temporary community of 60 micro-shelters. This will be the layout. Small clusters of shelters around a centralized area with larger trailers for showers, laundry, and meals. 60 shelters have been purchased from Faro International at a cost of $1.26 million, and contracts are in place to prepare the land as well as install utilities and lighting. Canadian-based Expera has won the bid to operate the facility. It's a company experienced in temporary housing for communities evacuated from natural disasters.
Their staff are informed and trained in all of the relevant things, trauma-informed response, crisis management, first aid, cultural sensitive training.
Back in October, when council endorsed the mayor's plan, it was hoped that they could have at least a partial opening on this site by the end of this year. But delays delivering the micro shelters has pushed that back into January. Wintry.
We can do all of this work very quickly, and so we still have time. But yeah, I think you'll see a site transform from pretty much cornfield to fully integrated site in a short period of time.
As for transportation to and from this relatively remote site, there is actually a London Transit partial bus route that services this area, but the closest bus stop for the time being will be well over this horizon. According to the report, the existing location is within London Transit's recommended distance for bus stops, and installing a new one would add costs as well as require pouring concrete in the winter.
Yes, it will be a cold walk from the transit stop to the location, but when they get there, there will be a warm house, which is not on the street.
In October, Council backed a $7 million budget for the micro-shelter project that will operate until April 2027. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
Windsor City staff say they've been inundated with calls from people reporting an apparent texting scam, telling them they're supposed to pay fines for driving infractions. As Sanjay Maru reports, staff have dealt with similar scams before.
Getting a scam text can be quite annoying, especially if you're receiving more than one a day.
They just continuously come in. Yesterday, I received 3 of them, and they were all different links.
Since the start of the week, a string of scam texts has prompted as many as 50 calls to the city of Windsor from concerned residents. People being told they owe money either for speeding or for parking in a prohibited area, even though the text does not list a location or even mention a city. And no matter which version of the text you get, the goal is always the same: to push you into clicking a link that leads to a phishing page designed to steal your personal or banking information.
Know that 1, City of Windsor, we don't have your cell phone numbers. 2, we don't have your email addresses. So if you get these either ways, be suspicious right off the bat.
City official Bill Krolovinsky says scammers tend to follow trends. If police are issuing warnings about speeding, that's when speed-related texts start hitting people's phones. The same thing happens with automated speed enforcement or any change in policing habits. Scammers ride the wave of whatever is making headlines.
It goes through a cyclical motion. Probably every 3 months we get a bam of them. Another 3 months we get another wham of them.
But while some may be quick to ignore these types of scam messages, it's the timing of these texts which can appear more believable, particularly for those who already have a ticket or a court matter pending. One paralegal I spoke with says some of his clients are mere seconds away from tapping that link, thinking they're settling a real fine.
I've had people call me saying, "What happened to the ticket? Because I just got a notice that I owe the money." And I'm like, how did you send that to me? Well, it's on my text. No, phony, deleted.
The correct advice, despite scam texts showing no signs of slowing down.
Usually what I'll do is I'll report them as junk and delete them. But you know what? Another one will follow through, a couple hours later.
Sanjay Maru, CTV News.
St. Thomas City councillors have passed their draft budget for 2026, locking in a 6% property tax increase. That's nearly double the raise approved in London. With more on the factors behind the Railway City's figure, here's Brian Bicknell.
Improved roads, new infrastructure, and enhanced emergency services. If you live in St. Thomas, you'll soon have to dig deeper to pay for it all.
The tax rate's going up just hurts the people that are barely trying to get by.
St. Thomas Council has approved the city's 2026 draft budget of nearly $79.5 million, with a municipal tax increase of 6%.
They've done a very good job of keeping minimal tax increases, so an increase of 6% would be quite surprising.
Property taxes for the average home will rise by approximately $192 per year based on municipal property assessments.
We've delivered through 2 terms of council the lowest numbers for miles around, and the average this year, because we recognize with the growth we're doing in St. Thomas now, the attracting of great industries will help pay us a lot of bills in the future and employ a lot of people.
They're doing a great job getting everything ready, but I guess we're going to have to pay for it.
I'm a little disappointed that all the industry that is coming into this area, that some of these taxes couldn't be offloaded there.
Mayor Preston says new industries like PowerCo and Bionode will not contribute to the tax base until they begin making products.
More than 2 years away. That's a good distance away when we start producing batteries and collecting taxes from PowerCo, or producing graphite and collecting taxes from Bionode.
The largest item in the operating budget is policing, with a budget of $21.6 million, up more than 22% from $17.6 million this year. Preston says the increase will allow the service to add 5 officers, along with a number of special constables downtown.
Almost all personnel costs, or if you want greater crime fighting and greater, policing in that sense, then you need another platoon.
Council is set to review the budget one more time on Monday. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
And Rita Ismail joins me on the desk now for a first look at the forecast. A very wintry forecast, it feels like.
Certainly. We have snow moving into the region this evening, Carlyle, and with that, we'll pick up a couple of centimeters here in London. Not much in the way of snowfall further down south you go near Windsor, but a lot more near Owen Sound. We are tracking this weak clipper that will push through. It will move through this evening, and the story is the air mass in behind it will be bitterly cold as that Arctic air flows through, and then we are setting up for some lake effect snow squalls possible for early Thursday morning. I'll break down the full forecast coming up a little later in the show, but for now, sending it back to you, Carlyle.
Thanks very much, Rita. Police in Kingsville say they've arrested and charged a 57-year-old man through a child sexual exploitation investigation. They say officers searched a residence in Kingsville on November 28th, seizing several electronic devices. Police say the suspect now faces several child pornography charges, with a court appearance scheduled for tomorrow. Windsor police are reporting 2 arrests, charging a pair of suspects with human trafficking offenses. They say a 27-year-old woman told them she was forced into the sex trade and exploited over 3 days before she escaped. Windsor police say yesterday they worked with their provincial counterparts, arresting 1 suspect in Barrie and a 2nd suspect in Windsor. Provincial police say they've shut down an unlicensed pot shop in downtown London. This note was posted in front of a dispensary on Dundas. According to OPP, officers executed a search warrant yesterday. Last week, police were investigating a daytime shooting nearby, which sent 1 person to hospital. A warning from firefighters in Norfolk County responding to a recent garage fire. There were no injuries, nor was the damage extensive, but fire experts say when lithium-ion batteries are involved, it can get dangerous quickly. Sean Irvin reports.
An investigator with the Ontario Fire Marshal's office wears a protective mask as they sort through a fire scene in the hamlet of Walsh, about 15 kilometers south of Delhi. It was here shortly after 9:30 Monday evening a fire broke out. It forced 3 people in an upper floor apartment to flee.
Residents who were upstairs at the time were alerted to a loud boom and smoke in their building.
25 firefighters spent 3 hours bringing the blaze at this antique garage shop under control. Damage was limited to the front portion of the building. The investigation might have ended there, but once inside, firefighters made a discovery that led them to call in the Ontario Fire Marshal's office.
So this building, we found a tremendous amount of lithium-ion batteries and assorted accessories that go with them.
And that presented a significant concern.
It's always a hazard for firefighters when these batteries, if they're compromised, could go into thermal runaway, posing health risk and explosion risk for firefighters.
It is important to note that the cause of this fire remains undetermined. But the stockpile of batteries found prompted Norfolk Fire to issue a general advisory about the devices commonly found in most technology products.
Anytime a lithium-ion battery is involved in a fire, that fire can quickly become very large, even if it started very small and had nothing to do with the battery.
Now, the timing of the safety message coincides with the upcoming holiday season and also with an increasing number of lithium battery fires in this region and throughout the province.
Across North America, we're attending a lot more of these fires.
The reality has led to the heightened awareness of all fire departments.
There's been a lot of interest from the Ontario Fire Marshal's office, from fire departments across North America, on how to combat these before we get to the point where we have so many of them that we can't control it.
That said, Norfolk officials underline that lithium-ion batteries are safe when properly used, maintained, and stored. In the hamlet of Walsh, south of Delhi, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
A community fundraising campaign has launched in Huron County. Organizers say they need millions of dollars to bring a much-needed piece of hospital equipment to Goderich. With more on their goal and timeline, here's Scott Miller.
Tonight marks the beginning of something truly transformative for our community.
Kimberly Payne officially kicks off a $6.5 million campaign to bring an MRI machine to the Alexander Marine and General Hospital in Goderich.
We're getting ready to launch the biggest capital campaign that the foundation has ever launched. So it's a big $6.5 million to bring an MRI and that technology to the community of Huron County and beyond, because currently people travel to Owen Sound or to Kitchener, to London, Stratford, Strathroy.
Although the Magnetic Moments campaign just officially launched this week, $960,000 has already been raised towards the project that will see an expansion of the hospital to accommodate the new MRI machine, the first one in Huron County.
They're a special kind of equipment that uses a very powerful magnet to get images. It's not a radiation-based piece of equipment, and it has a niche for imaging. It's really, really good for joints. It is sometimes really useful in pregnancy when we want to avoid radiation. It's excellent for imaging the brain, which is a great help to our telestroke program at Goderich.
The diagnosis for cancer treatments, things like that, will happen much faster, so it means treatment gets to an individual sooner, so better outcomes.
Currently, the wait times for the closest MRI machines to Goderich are 52 days in Owen Sound, 66 days in Stratford, and 360 days in London.
The wait times are very long. London's MRIs, there are a few there, and they're swamped, having a hard time keeping up with the demand. So we're actually probably going to be pulling from more than just our region, but outside the region too.
It's expected to take 2 years to raise the necessary funds to bring an MRI machine to Goderich. But if all goes according to plan, the new piece of equipment will be installed in 2027 and operational sometime in 2028.
People in our area recognize how great this will be to have an MRI in our area and not have to travel as far, or maybe helps eliminate some wait times by having it closer to home.
In Huron County, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Ontario's education minister says the province's students are falling short when it comes to standardized testing results, which were released today. With more on the government response, here's Siobhan Morris.
It frustrated me and made me quite upset.
The Minister of Education displeased with the EQAO results he held back for study. He doesn't feel progress in reading, writing, and math is coming fast enough.
Half of grade 6 students and 42% of grade 9 students are not meeting the provincial standard in math.
In response, the government's setting up a 2-person advisory panel to dig into student learning.
The review will look at whether our curriculum and learning resources are clear and easy to use. It will consider how well teachers are being prepared and supported. It will examine whether students have the tools they need to succeed in the classroom.
And look at what kind of testing makes sense. The people doing that work will be named in the new year. Their pay, $1,500 a day.
I think you should be focusing on what some say the $1,500 a year that students are being shorted individually in our education system.
The opposition says the changes needed to help kids succeed are no secret.
We need smaller class sizes. We need more teachers. We need more educational assistants, not less.
The president of AWECTA is open to talking, but
what we don't need is other outside experts, again, trying to tell teachers as if they aren't professionals with experience what should be happening in their classroom.
Public elementary teachers want to do away with EQAO, a test their union says hasn't lived up to its goal.
Which was to close achievement gaps identified through the tests, where funds are directed to communities and to locations where extra supports are needed.
Calandra had planned to make a decision on whether or not to do away with trustees by the end of this year. Now he says no announcement will be made until 2026. He's still reviewing constitutional requirements for education in the Catholic and French systems.
But nothing has changed my mind right now that trustees are in any way the best way to deliver a $43 billion educational system.
At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Air Transit pilots have voted almost unanimously in favor of strike action. That means cancellations could be on the horizon just as the holiday travel season ramps up. Annie Bergeron-Oliver reports.
In exactly 1 week's time, Air Transat could be forced to start grounding flights as its roughly 700 unionized pilots will be in a position to strike.
A December strike will be catastrophic because capacity is already saturated. Other airlines like Air Canada and WestJet are flying full plane for the holidays.
The threat during the busiest travel time of the year comes nearly a year after talks between the union and airline began. The pilots want pay raises and better job security and say they're tired of working under a contract signed 10 years ago. In a statement, the union says, "Let us be clear, we do not want to strike. However, after nearly a year of slow bargaining and little progress, we urge management to utilize the remaining time and negotiate seriously to avoid operational and flight disruptions."
If anyone knows labor negotiations, I do, and I know that there's a pattern here, and we obviously hope they get a deal.
The airline is confident a deal can be found, saying in a statement, although this is a common step in the collective bargaining process and does not mean that a strike will be initiated, we remain fully committed at the bargaining table and aim to reach a tentative agreement without labor dispute. Aviation analysts say the prospect of a Christmas slowdown puts pressure on a company already facing financial troubles.
I don't think Transat's in a position right now of being able to accept a financially disruptive situation like a strike, so they will settle.
Air Transat says its operations are currently running as normal. Either side must give 72 hours notice of a strike or a lockout. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Coming up, on to the Olympics. London curler Sarah Wilkes qualifies for the upcoming Winter Games in Italy. Plus, the Windsor basketball star helping the Lancers to one of the best records in the OUA. Welcome back. Carter Hart made his return to the NHL last night, his first game since he was acquitted of sexual assault in London this past summer. Hart signed a 2-year contract with the Vegas Golden Knights back in October. He led them to a shootout win last night over the Chicago Blackhawks. Hart was suspended indefinitely when he and 4 of his World Junior teammates were charged with sexual assault nearly 2 years ago.
Oh, it's just so good to be back. These guys here are awesome. Just grateful for the opportunity here. Huge win tonight. Just feels so good. Like it's hard to put into words.
Hart remains the only one of the acquitted players to sign an NHL contract since their suspensions were lifted. The London Knights host the Kitchener Rangers on their annual teddy bear toss night. Members of the London Knights fan club have been collected stuffed animals for the past year in anticipation of tonight's event. They say they've brought in more than 6,000 so far, hoping to break their own OHL record set last year. The tossed teddies support the Salvation Army, while tonight's 50-50 draw will contribute funds to Ronald McDonald House.
We have the best fans, not just cheering, supporting, just helping the community. You know, I hear stories of I got 60 bears coming, I got 50, I've been collecting, I've been fundraising, kids are spending their birthday monies to make this event possible. So truly the fans are the people that make this all amazing, all possible.
The Windsor Lancers women's basketball team has now won 5 of its last 6 games. Leading the way, Callie Grutenboer on a run of 7 straight double-doubles. The OUA season is going on its winter break with the Lancers near the top of the West Division standings. Grutenboer is averaging 15 points and 10 rebounds a game.
Like our team is just overall shooting better, so it's taking some pressure off of just people guarding me, so I'm having more opportunities. That is a really good start. We obviously want to keep it going into the new year, and we have a lot of different teams that we're playing, but getting Carleton and Ottawa out of the way and going 2-0 against them is huge for us because that's something we've never done since I've been here.
London has its first Olympian qualified for the upcoming Winter Games. Curler Sarah Wilkes will represent Canada in Italy come February, and with her story, here's Brent Lale.
Please give a big round of applause for Team Holman, who will be representing our country at the Olympic Games in Italy.
It feels amazing just for all the hard work that we've put in over the past 4 years with this team in particular to pay off. Back in London with gold around her neck, Sarah Wilkes is still processing that she's an Olympian.
We got this a couple days ago. It kind of made it feel a little less surreal, a little more real now that it's happening. We won. I remember I don't know, I was in grade 6 or something. I had the chicken pox, and I was home during the whole Olympics. So I got to watch all the Winter Olympics, and that was kind of a moment where it's like, hey, I want to do that.
Team Homan, with Wilkes as the lead, won the Canadian curling trials this weekend and earned their ticket to Italy. Back at the Highland Curling Club, the support for one of their own has been amazing.
A good example of that is at the trials. We probably had 40 or 50 of our own members travel out to Halifax to take in the trials and watch it reel. So that's a good example of what's going to come for the Olympics.
Ranked number 1 in the world, Team Homan will be the favorite on paper. The competition will be difficult, and the ice conditions at international events always play a big factor. Until then, Wilkes and her teammates will head to their respective homes of Ottawa, Sudbury, and Edmonton to get some much-needed downtime.
We have 65 days or something until we leave, so definitely take a moment right now, enjoy it, recover, but then get right back to our training and preparing for the Olympic Games.
Brent Leal, CTV News.
Windsor police and firefighters are building up anticipation for their annual charity hockey game, raising money for local cancer research. With more on the Battle of the Badges and the personal connections for many of the participants, here's Chris Campbell.
As much as it's just a hockey game, it is not just a hockey game.
Police and fire crews stood side by side Wednesday, officially kicking off the inaugural Battle of the Badges charity hockey game, where all proceeds will support local cancer research.
In the fire service, cancer is obviously near and dear to our hearts. It is our #1 risk factor for injury, for line of duty deaths.
The Windsor Police Service and Windsor Fire and Rescue Services will face off February 4th at the WFCU Centre on World Cancer Day, in a game that hits close to home for many wearing the uniforms.
You know, over the years we've done Battle of the Badges in a different way, but this is the one that really means the most. I mean, this everyone's been affected, and we've all heard that, and it couldn't be more true.
The funds raised will support research underway at the University of Windsor, giving the public a behind-the-scenes look at where donations make a difference.
In this building right here, the core building, we have equipment that doesn't exist everywhere in the world. You know, this is a place where we've been able to get the types of equipment that we can ask cutting-edge questions, and those questions can lead directly into patient care.
Researchers say keeping that work local means faster collaboration, better outcomes, and training the next generation of scientists at home.
If I can sell 3,000 tickets combined with the sponsorship dollars that we have, we will raise $70,000, and the Cancer Research Society will match that so that we can create an additional operational grant that will happen right here in Windsor in 2027.
The event is being organized in partnership with Play for a Cure, led by cancer survivor Jeff Casey, whose motivation is deeply personal.
I was diagnosed with cancer about 17 years ago at what you would call the exact wrong time, because it was the day after our daughter was born.
17 years later, Casey says he's proud to turn his experience into action.
I was given this opportunity to survive, and so now I'm carrying on and trying to raise money, funds, awareness to support local cancer research so that we can create more survivors, that we can have better health outcomes for our cancer patients.
In Windsor, Chris Campbell, CTV News.
And Rita Ismail's on the desk with me now, handling the forecast for us, for our friends in Windsor, Midwestern Ontario, here in London today. And there's a lot to talk about weather-wise. It's a busy week.
Certainly, it has been a busy start to December weather-wise, and no exception as we head into the latter part of the week. You can see here on the satellite radar, we have snow starting to push through. We have an Alberta clipper that is going to swing through tonight, and with that, we'll see some flurries and light snowfall. The big story with this system is the air mass and behind it. Cold Arctic air will filter throughout southwestern Ontario, and windy conditions will result in some lake effect flurries. Our high today has been struggling, and as you can see, heading into this evening with that snowfall moving in, we could pick up anywhere between 2 to 4 centimeters here in London. And throughout Midwestern Ontario, you do have a yellow watch in effect for snow squalls that could set up in behind this cold front as it moves through. There's those streamers throughout Owen Sound, and then one picks up over London early Thursday morning. It will be there shifting up and down right up until about 3 or 4 p.m. Now in Windsor, lots of sunshine for your Thursday, but keep in mind cold temperatures. We're talking mid-winter-like weather for your Thursday into Friday, and then we're expecting a break from the snow late day Thursday into Friday before it moves back in the form of flurries for your weekend. So again, this evening, cold temperatures, light snowfall with that system, flurries overnight. Carlyle, it will feel like minus 17 early Thursday morning. That's right, a cold start to your day tomorrow. The winds will be gusting out of the northwest, 30 to 50 kilometers per hour. And of course, that means that lake effect snowmaking machine will be in full swing, clearing though by about 4 or 5 p.m. As those winds start to ease, we will see a bit of a break, but our temperature, again, nowhere near seasonal. This time of year, that's about 3 degrees, believe it or not, but we're looking at minus 6 for our high tomorrow. So cold Thursday and Friday, that Arctic air really settling in for the next 48 hours. And then we're warming up, relatively speaking, in London to minus 2 on Saturday. Scattered flurries still possible, and that struggling temperatures will be the story for the next 7. It won't really warm up above the freezing mark until a week from today, but with that will come the chance for some mixed precipitation. Midwestern Ontario, cold for you as well, even more. Minus 5, flurries, snow squalls possible for Thursday as those winds gust over Lake Huron. We are expecting you to pick up anywhere between 10 to 20 centimeters on top of what you already have this week. And then night flurries possible for Friday. Although Friday morning will be a nice mix of sun and cloud, it will be bitterly cold at minus 15 first thing Friday. Saturday, flurries in the forecast, and then Sunday, mostly cloudy conditions. We're not really going to be warming up anytime soon. Wednesday, the chance for mixed precipitation is there. And in Windsor, a bit of a different forecast for you as we head into the Windsor afternoon. 1 degree is the story for tomorrow, but it will be cold, windy, flurries possible as well. Your 7-day forecast is, of course, brought to you by Enercare, experts at home. Flurries in store for Friday as well, minus 6. And then Saturday looks to be a nice mix of sun and cloud in Windsor, but again, bitterly cold at minus 13 first thing Saturday morning. Heading into Sunday, warming up to the 1 degree mark, flurries possible. Nice mix of sun and cloud Monday, Tuesday, but it's certainly going to feel like mid-winter, Carlyle, as we head through the next 7 days.
Absolutely. I did see some positive temperatures there, so we'll take,
I like that you're saying that.
We'll take it
wonderful.
while we can. All right, Rita, thanks very much. Coming up, the tariff impact on the other side of the border. We head to a northern Michigan community struggling alongside their northern neighbors. Welcome back. Public hearings are underway in Washington, D.C., part of a mandatory review of the Canada-U.S.-Mexico trade agreement. The 3-day hearings are part of the preparations for the formal review scheduled for July. Ahead of the hearings, American industry leaders have urged the Trump administration to remove tariffs on imports from Canada and Mexico. Tough times are expected for many in Sault Ste. Marie, with mass layoffs coming for the Algoma steel plant there. Across the border, though, in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, there's a ripple effect in a community that maintains a strong bond with its northern neighbors. Heather Wright reports.
The Sault Ste. Marie International Bridge spans 4.5 kilometers, connecting the two Saults on either side of the St. Mary's River. 2 cities, 2 countries facing similar challenges.
Definitely, there's been a pinch.
Jennifer Riatoir owns The Mole Hole, a shop that caters to both locals and visitors, though fewer Canadians are stopping by these days.
I'm sure the tariffs did not help, but I did already notice a drop because of the exchange rate.
Riatoir has been in business for more than a decade, but in the last year, she's watched as her margins have been squeezed thanks to tariffs.
Some of our vendors do try as well to absorb it for a while, but ultimately they pass it on to us. We absorb what we can, but we also can't absorb everything. There's just not enough room for it, and so everybody pays for tariffs.
While tariffs are most acutely felt on imported hard goods, prices have also risen at the grocery store.
Everything is going higher, and
we're doing okay, but I think there's a lot of less fortunate people that have to really struggle. And I don't know how they make ends meet.
It's a struggle Dan Trevisanute is trying to help with. He's a barber in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, and is offering discounted pricing to all Algoma employees as his way to give back.
It's the least I can do, and a little bit of affordability to offer these people dignity, because they'll be looking for jobs, and there'll be a lot of people just going to be in a bad way.
An increase in social service needs was expected here in Sault Ste. Marie before the layoffs, a need that is only expected to grow now. Heather Wright, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario.
A Brampton-based military manufacturer has secured a contract to provide armored vehicles to the American Department of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE. It's a $10 million contract, and according to U.S. records, Rochelle was the only company that could meet ICE's technical requirements, delivering 20 armored tactical vehicles in 30 days. There's been broad criticism of ICE operations since the Trump administration took over the White House as they expel immigrants in large numbers. ICE agents have also been accused of human rights abuses amid their deportation efforts. Canada's main stock index was up today as the energy and base metal sectors rose. The TSX gained 111 points. In New York, the Dow added 408, the Nasdaq up 40. The Canadian dollar gained 1/5 of a cent today. On commodity markets, gold is up almost $12 an ounce. Oil added 31 cents a barrel. When we come back, local input at risk. The concerns from conservation authorities as the province plans mass mergers. Welcome back. Former Cabinet Minister Stephen Guilbeault is doubling down on his opposition to last week's energy agreement between the Alberta and federal governments, which led to his resignation.
I sincerely doubt that the new pipeline will ever get built. We still have carbon pricing, and we will continue having an industrial carbon pricing, but I disagree with some of the fundamental elements in this memorandum of understanding. I think we are putting a lot on the table and getting nothing in return. This idea that we're somehow winning because Alberta's going to increase its industrial price, they need to do that under the federal system anyway.
In his resignation letter, Guilbeault said he understands the Prime Minister's efforts in the face of profound disruption, but for him, environmental issues must remain front and center. Leaders with Ontario's conservation authorities are protesting the provincial government's plans to reduce their numbers from 36 down to just 7. With more on that plan and what it means in southwestern Ontario, here's Jeff Pickle.
From camping to trail maintenance, environmental protection, and flood management, the Grand River Conservation Authority does a lot and covers a lot of area, from Dundalk to Lake Erie. Ontario Bill 68 would collapse 36 conservation authorities down to just 7 and put the GRCA into the largest network, stretching all the way to Windsor, over 350 kilometers end to end.
The area for the Lake Erie one is huge, all the way down to Windsor from up north. And so that's quite a culture shock. It's 81 municipalities.
The province says the new approach will bring central leadership, efficiency, and better direction and oversight.
So the goal, I think, is to stabilize conservation authorities across Ontario. Some of them don't have the finances to fund the experts.
North Dumfries Mayor Sue Foxton says she agrees some change is needed, but has concerns.
When they kept asking us the questions of, well, how would you do it? I kept thinking they don't have a really good plan.
She says the new area is too big and could jeopardize local knowledge and expertise.
Bring in the ones that are struggling into the GRCA, or let's find a way that we can share our professionals with them to help bring them up to the level that we all need to be at.
Board Trustee Pan Wolf of Cambridge is more critical.
I guess my primary concern is the lack of local autonomy, and that we're seeing more and more with the province.
Wolf is concerned an emphasis on efficiency comes at the cost of safety.
A little distrustful of words like streamlining processes. What does that mean? You know, sometimes we have the process and we have things for a reason, and often it's safety.
Dan Lawrence from Haldimand County, hopeful the province can find middle ground.
I think there's some very good dialogue with regard to an agreement
that change is needed. But I think really at this point, many are in agreement, too big, too quick.
With no plans yet etched in stone, the GRCA board members are hopeful their input doesn't get washed away.
Definitely, it's moving forward fairly quickly, but they are listening to us, I believe. I want to be optimistic.
The GRCA board meets again to discuss this issue and any developments on December 12th. Jeff Pickle, CTV News, Kitchener.
The toll to cross the Ambassador Bridge is getting more expensive. As of January 1st, the toll will increase from $12 to $14. It'll also cost $10 US to get back, up from the current $9 fee.
Number one rule is to make sure that you unplug things before you attempt to fix them.
Still ahead, getting your Christmas lights right, when faulty bulbs can be repaired and when they just need replacing. Welcome back. Rehearsals are well underway for a production in Windsor showcasing the efforts every Christmas up at the North Pole. Letters to Santa runs December 5th through the 13th at the Chrysler Theatre. It's set inside Santa's workshop, featuring dozens of performers, dance numbers, and a live band. It's produced by St. Clair College's Music Theatre program, and tickets are still available. With snow on the ground across much of our region, it's starting to look more like the holiday season. As households start putting the festive touch on their properties, many might also find their outdoor decorations defective. As Pat Foran reports, there are some things you can do to make sure your string lights last.
Some homes are already decked out for the holidays, and some homeowners spare no expense to have their properties look great for the festive season. It never seems to fail. Every year when I do my Christmas and holiday lights, there always seems to be at least one or two strings that don't work, and it's hard to know when should you fix them and when should you throw them out.
Number one rule is to make sure that you unplug things before you attempt to fix them.
Kyle Tobin of Christmas Lights Toronto says his company has been decorating homes for the past 35 years. He says, unfortunately, many holiday lights are not built to last.
The problem is that consumer lights, retail version lights, are not designed to withstand more than 1 or 2 seasons, whereas commercial grade lights are meant to be replaceable. Parts can be retrofitted so that they can be maintained to last many years.
Tobin says wet, freezing temperatures are also hard on outdoor lights.
Brittle wire, water, and corrosion. Those are the biggest culprits of things that make a light strand disposable.
If you have a strand that won't light, there are 2 fuses behind a small door on the plug. Replacing them with fuses that came with your original set or that you purchased separately could fix the problem.
If this doesn't fix it, there's a good chance you need to throw out your lights. Plug her in, and if it works, then you've probably solved the problem.
Also check bulbs for corrosion.
When this corrosion happens from moisture getting in and age, you develop something that's going to interrupt the flow of electricity.
A recap: 4 common fixes for burnt-out string lights. Replace the fuses, swap burnt-out bulbs, check bulbs and the cord for damage, and if bulbs are rust-colored and the wire is brittle and frayed, recycle the lights and get a new set. Tobin says using damaged lights is not worth the fire risk, as you want to be sure you have a safe holiday season. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Welcome back. A new recruit has joined the Windsor Police K-9 unit, filling a role recently vacated through a retirement. Michelle Molesky reports.
This is Windsor Police K-9 Officer Smoke. The 18-month-old German Shepherd Malinois has passed his 15-week course and is now a member of the Windsor Police Service.
It's fair to say that our police dogs are some of the Windsor's most popular officers. Each time they assist with an arrest, it always gets people attention, and for good reason.
Originally from Holland, Smoke has been partnered with Constable Ryland Salmon for active duty.
It's more than a job. It's a lifetime dedication to our K-9 partners, to the service, and to the community, extending beyond the typical 9 to 5.
Smoke graduated today along with Canine Officer Shadow for the Sarnia Police Service.
The reason why we end up in Windsor is because of how renowned this dog teams are.
Shadow is Sarnia's second dog trained in Windsor.
Who is consistently recognized nationally as a top program in canine policing.
Meantime, Canine Officer Cole is now officially retired after serving the community for 8 years.
They became one of the best teams I've ever had the opportunity to coach. And I'm prepared to give the ultimate compliment to this team, which is our community, without question, has been made safer with you rolling on the streets.
His handler, Constable Eric Wilson, recalls early in their career, the drug squad couldn't find narcotics in a home, but Cole dead stopped on the back deck of the house.
Well, this is weird. Put him back in the truck and find a big hidden compartment under the deck, and it had a large amount of drugs and a large amount of money in there. And had he not been there, there's no question that would have gone undetected, and those drugs would have ended up on the street.
Constable Wilson will now go to a new unit within the service, while Cole will roam around his handler's property in retirement.
He runs around and hangs out with me and guards my garage and stuff now. So.
At the Windsor Police Training Branch, Michelle Molesky, CTV News.
We're looking forward to having Police Dog Shadow and Constable Vince back in Sarnia and what they're going to offer to our program. The sustainability of our dog program is now in place, and it's all thanks to what the Windsor Police Service offers.
That's Sarnia police officials expressing gratitude for Windsor's training program. They'll be returning with a 2-year-old German Shepherd now graduated. According to Sarnia's Deputy Police Chief, a canine unit wasn't possible in Sarnia until they started training in Windsor.
In all the research that I did, I talked to numerous agencies across not only the province, but into Michigan as well. And every single time it was, you have to go to Windsor, you have to go to Windsor. It's just a testament to the quality of dogs that they produce here and the camaraderie that the team has.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us here at CTV News London and Windsor, I'm Carlyle. Have a good night.